Welcome to Season 3 of the Casual Camping Podcast, your home for the best camping discussion both in and out of the field. Here are your hosts, Tim and Ade.
Hello, you wonderful people. It's another amazing episode of Casual Camping Podcast. I'm Tim, and this is...
Ade. Tim, you've oversold us there. How do you know it's going to be amazing?
We only need him to listen for the first few seconds to count in the downloads. I'm joking. It's not actually. We need you to listen to all of it. So please stay for the end.
Stay for the end. Stay for the minute mark from nurse. Will it be sausages or rain?
I didn't think we were doing that anymore.
I know. It's just a throwback, Tim. I'm a throwback.
You're retro now, Ed, I think. Or is it pre-loved? I'm not sure what we call you now.
Well worn. Pickled. Choose. There's many different phrases.
Pickled. Have you got a beer?
I don't. I've got a cup of tea.
Oh, look at you! You're dry. You're practically drying out.
Well, I know. I thought I better do, really. And actually, let's be honest, I just didn't have any in, and I've not been to the shops.
Ah, there we go. Truth is told. Truth is told.
But for the first time this year, I'm out of brandy.
Oh my gosh!
I know. I don't think I've bought brandy for a good few years, and I don't drink lots of it because it's not something that you guzzle down. But my very kind people have obviously bought me it for Christmas and birthdays along the time. So yeah, but I'm out. Christmas is coming, Tim. I'm going to say Christmas is coming.
We'll have to do like a Christmas wish list episode, won't we? In December, and of things we want, camping things we want, but obviously on your wish list is going to be brandy.
Brandy keeps the chills away, Tim. It keeps the chills.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I didn't used to like it. It's one of those drinks that I had when I was a teenager and made me sick. So I couldn't drink it most of my life. But
yeah,
it's actually quite nice. It's nice in a coffee or something like that. It's actually quite. It's quite all right.
Well, yeah, it's been a good week. I love autumn. Autumn. I've been driving and the colours in the trees are just magical. Stunning,
isn't it? It's absolutely stunning this time of year. I love it as well when the trees are turning and all the colours. I'm less happy about the fact that there's leaves all over my garden every 5 minutes, but I do get to play with my new leaf blower toys, so that's always good fun. It's always good fun.
Well, power tools. I do, and I've not been able to get out camping, and I'm absolutely hankering for a good autumn stroke winter. But just getting out somewhere. I'm not even bothered about a squad. I think I might just go on my own.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It's getting a bit too difficult to get everybody together or whatever. And I just think, you know what? I just need a camp away near some woodland and burn stuff.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm absolutely shattered. It's such a busy time at the moment with one thing or another, and I'm desperate to get camping, and I have not been either. But I think Thee and me need to just get in a field somewhere and burn some shit. It's sorry,
bonfire
I swore.
Bonfire night is nearly upon us, Tim.
It is. Yes. Remember the 5th of November.
Yes. And if you don't know what we're talking about, because you are in other parts of the world, Google it like everybody else does. we might go into it a little bit more in one of our future episodes. But for now, Google it.
Google it. Just ask the old ask the old Yorkshire A up to tell you what it is, and they will. I've got a 5-star mediocre review.
Shut the door.
I do. I do. This is from Kenny Brunswig.
Hey, Ken Dog.
Ken Dog. It's like
That
Ken
just came
Dog.
out. Aye. Not a lot. Oh no, that's Paul.
No, it's Paul Daniels. It's, Ken Dodd. He had like a
Tickle stick.
a feather duster, and he had some Diddy men, didn't he, running round him?
Aye. Sounds like really weird now that you say
Yeah,
it.
I know, but we are going back to the 70s. But anyway, this is Kenny Brunswig. Ken Dog. Just sounds wrong. So you guys popped up on my feed a few weeks ago. I am the flamethrower guy. I don't know what it means by that, but I think, yeah.
Tim, he doesn't have to mean anything. He's a flamethrower guy, for God's sake.
Oh, sorry.
You come to the right place.
And he goes on, he says, anyway, I got around to listening to the podcast. Y'all are effing, because people are sensitive and would report me for being vulgar, hilarious. I really enjoyed the podcast, and you guys have a new follower. Y'all keep it up. Jackson, Georgia, Butts County, brackets, yes, the county I live in is called Butts, USA. I love that we've got somebody listening to us in the arse of USA.
Maybe that's not what he meant.
Maybe
There's quite a lot of butts within the UK. I know Worcester, when I used to live there, there was a whole street called the Butts, and everybody, and there was all the bars on it and stuff. You're like going down the Butts.
Yeah. A good pint I like is Butcombe, but it's. I know.
Spell that for people, Tim. Spell that.
Buttcomb. Butcombe.
Yes.
Butcombe.
Yeah, I think
I don't know what
American
you're
friends. Our American friends would be like, it's like when they go Worcestershire,
yeah.
So yeah, we've got some weird stuff over here.
We do.
I'd give them that. I know we do.
Yeah. We have as much butt as anywhere else. But
yes.
Thank you for taking the time to send us a 5-star mediocre review. Puts a smile on our face every single time. So thank you, Ken Dog. And if anybody else wants to be featured in this little section of the show, then send us your mediocre 5-star review, either through the link in the show notes or send it via social media.
Yeah, and we will also give you a nickname, and we'll butcher it a little bit. So, don't be offended. Please don't come here to be offended. We insult ourselves as much as we don't want to give offence, but hey,
yeah. It's casual. This is Casual Camping Podcast.
We are gentle souls that want to be out in nature, and we are just talking about all the things and trying to make each other laugh. Anyway, Tim, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about First Aid. Not just you, because you were the First Aid, but hey, I'm here all week. But First Aid when camping. So some what do you do? What should you carry? That sort of thing, Ed. Do you carry a first aid kit?
So I've got one in the shed that I don't really know what's in it, and I don't think it necessarily comes with me on every journey. I think if I'm going a bit more wild, we used to go up to Stranraer in Scotland and camp on a beach somewhere, and it'd be miles from anywhere. And I used to think, put that in the back of the car just in case we have an accident.
Yeah.
But more localized kind of campsites within the UK and stuff like that, maybe not, not every time. And, I know I should. I don't even know whether it's up to date, and that's probably a big thing as well. Actually, yeah, you've taken it. You don't know what's in because you've not looked at it for a while,
Yeah.
and then you need it, and actually, all you've got is an eye bandage and some safety pins.
Yeah. That is that is so true. Most people that do have a first aid kit, they tend to be one of those shop bought ones that they thought, I need a first aid kit, I'll go get that, never open it because they're reassured that they've got one. But
Yeah.
actually, there's a lot of stuff in those shop bought ones that are next to useless, really, that you're probably not going to need. And in many ways, you better putting something together yourself. And
Interesting. I mean, obviously, I like a little container and something that's a little bit retro that has a little red cross on it sounds wonderful.
yeah,
But
yeah, and
I'm all about image rather than
then
what's needed.
no substance. Oh God. No, you're often better. You're often better thinking, well, what is it I do, and what are the injuries that might occur as a result of that, and therefore, what stuff should I carry that would deal with those injuries? So
Mm.
we all tend to carry some kind of a bladed cutting tool
Yep.
and of different lengths and sizes and whatever else. Chances are, if you're a bit of an idiot like me, at some point you're going to cut yourself with that cutting tool. And
Tim, what's this sub point? It's every bloody time.
I know. And literally, my hands are covered in scars. My thigh. I went through my jeans once. It's I
I
mean,
mean, like,
God.
your thumb was hanging off with that axe doing kindling, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, it was my index finger on my left hand. Yeah, I'm just looking at that now. The scar's pretty decent on it, to be honest.
Uh,
I did go down to bone. It's thankfully that was at home, and the home I lived in at the time was literally 2 streets away from a minor injury unit. So I just wrapped it in a tea towel and walked to down there, and they cleaned it up and glued it up and sewed it up and sent me on my way. I know,
well,
embarrassing.
I mean, you say embarrassing, but it's happened quite a lot. I mean, you're like Edward Scissorhands with some of those cuts.
Well, the thing is, I do a lot of wood carving, don't I? I do a lot of whittling and stuff, and I've got like finger protectors and things for it, but they're just a bit of a pain to kind of wear. So I'm kind of whittling a bit of wood. Most of the little cuts on my hands are just little cuts, and you just want a little plaster on them. But you should be prepared just in case you do something a little bit bigger than that. It's so like I say, if you are carrying a bladed implement, whether it be a knife, a pen knife, folding knife, or an axe, you should have something that is you should be prepared for the fact that you might get that completely wrong and injure yourself or somebody else, and then you should be carrying something that can deal with that, whether it's
Yeah.
a few plasters or something a bit more substantial as a dressing pack, just to kind of hold something together while you get yourself out of trouble.
Yeah. So the last time I cut myself, I made the mistake. So I've got a fixed blade that I use with my ferro rod,
Hmm.
and I was showing my nephew some tricks, and I used a knife that wasn't a locking blade, and it closed back on my finger.
Ooh.
Yeah. Um, and so those things can happen all the time, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So yeah, got a deep cut. You've got bandages and stuff like that. What else, is there creams that you should have with that? Do you need, what are how do you keep it clean when you're out in the muddiness? I mean, like sometimes, if you're wild camping and stuff, I'm filthy. I mean, I'm just generally filthy. We all
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
But,
Don't wrap it in your pants, Ed, because we know your pants are really dirty.
I mean, Are we saying don't wrap it in 4-day-old pants, but 1-day-old pants are okay? What's the grading of the pantness?
Oh, gross. Do we need a visual representation chart of how
Thank
filthy
God
your
I've got a
pants
girl,
are?
because I'm not representing myself as the nicest man here, am I?
And of
Oh
course, to
dear.
our North American listeners, we're meaning underwear.
Yeah, and these are not trousers. These are
No.
undercrackers.
Oh my God. I would probably say at no point wrap a wound in your undercrackers unless they're fresh out of the drawer and
And they're prior to being worn. All
yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. If so if you do cut yourself, you need to wash it. You need to put well, and it depends how deep it is, but let's assume it's not a little scratch. Let's assume it's something a little bit deeper than that and it's bleeding. You might need to apply some immediate pressure on it so that you don't bleed lots because you don't want to lose lots of blood. But let's assume it's not a massive catastrophic bleed where you've
Gone
cut
through a vein.
yeah, or an artery or something like that. You've just cut your hand or something like that. You need to give it a clean. So you need to rinse it with, ideally, it'd be great if you had something to do to clean that in your first aid kit so that you knew it was there, and it would be something that would be either some sterile water or some saline, which is like a salt solution. And that's what I carry. I carry little pods of saline so that I can just take the top off one of those. You can literally put it in your teeth and squeeze it off if you having to just use one hand, and you just squeeze it out and it pours out of it. You know then that you're cleaning any muck and debris that might be in that wound, because if you don't do that, you run the risk of an infection coming at some point down the line. So try and get it clean as much as you can.
Yeah.
And then it's a case of, putting something clean over it that's going to stop it bleeding, putting some pressure on it, and holding that there. It should slow down. Don't be tempted to keep having a look to see, because chances are it will start again. So you'll know soon enough if it isn't stopping, because whatever you're pressing on there will go red. So press on there, put some firm pressure on wherever it is, and it should slow itself down. And then, but as I say, we're assuming in that scenario it's somewhere between a scratch but not a catastrophic bleed. You've just cut yourself. It's and
Okay.
it should settle down. You should be able to then close that with some plasters or something like that. It's
Right, brilliant. So myth busting here.
okay.
Will vodka clean a wound?
Yeah, it will. It will. Anything with a high alcohol content, so a decent spirit, will clean a wound. It will clean a wound out. It's a terrible waste of vodka. It's a terrible, terrible waste of
Who
vodka.
says you poured it away? Just, wiggle your finger in the glass.
Well, tequila comes with a worm. Surely my vodka can just have a finger in it.
No, I mean, like everything that you've seen on the cowboy movies, I was like, well, would that work? I'm sure I've seen them like sterilize like knives before cutting off a limb with some vodka, and then obviously, you better drink some of that as well, because this is going to hurt like a
yeah.
God damn.
They always do that in a film, don't they? It's just like, well,
Yeah.
we'll
Chew
just
on this
throw this
stick.
all over it and then have a drink and then chew on a stick while we take this off. God, the days before anesthetics, blow me neck, literally cutting people's legs off. Just can't imagine. But no, vodka, any alcohol with a high alcohol content. So not like a 9% ale. That's not going to clean a wound. It's that's not going to do it. So you've got to have a high concentrate, a high percentage alcohol, so a spirit, would do that. But do you need to do that? Actually, if you're just cleansing it with some sterile water, if you're carrying that, if you haven't got sterile water, then just some clean water. I wouldn't go throwing it in a stream because streams are full of all sorts of bacteria and all sorts of other things, and you'll end up actually getting a really nasty infection. And I've seen a lot of patients that have had stupid infections from swimming and cutting their legs and things in open water because open water's full of all sorts of stuff, and you do need to be careful doing that. So, but if you've got some water with you and it's in like one of your water butts, well, just open the tap and just rinse it through because you're just trying to get debris out of there, and then you just want to close it up again. And you can carry some if it's quite a clean wound and it's so if it's done with a bladed tool and it's not like a ragged wound where it's torn, so there's been no sort of tearing of the flesh. If it's like a simple cut from a knife, you can actually stick that with super glue, and I do carry a little bit of super glue in my first aid kit for that purpose.
Can you?
Yeah, you can, and that's all they'll use in a lot of minor injury units now. They try not to stitch unless they absolutely have to. They'll close a lot of wounds with super glue.
If you're anything like me, though, right? So I'll do it, hold it closed with the other one, then stick my other one to it because the glue's got to it, and then try and pull it off and make the cut worse.
I could absolutely see
if only putting
that.
two plastic bits together and then they stick to my hand. I was like, how'd the super glue get on there? And then I go around for weeks, like with no sensitivity in my fingertips because they're just glued up.
But you can commit all the crime you like because you've got no fingerprints.
This one says he was made in Japan.
Oh God, you're making me want to go and get an Airfix kit now and make a Spitfire or something.
I tell you, there's probably some of those from when we were a kid that somebody could lift fingerprints off that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh God. Man. Yeah, your problem there is you're applying too much and it's running into places you don't want it. So if you are using super glue in a wound, you're only trying to close the top of the wound. So you're not trying to pour it into the wound. So and ideally you're going to need somebody else to do this with you. You need to pinch it together. Make sure it's dry and it's not currently bleeding, and just put a tiny little bit of super glue across the top, and that's all you need. You still need to put another dressing on, but let the super glue dry first. Otherwise, you're going to super glue the dressing to your hand, and then you're really buggered.
I mean, I didn't think this episode through, Tim. I'm feeling quite queasy. I'm not the bravest of people when it comes to medical stuff.
Oh God!
If you hear a thud, I've gone.
Yeah, we haven't even got onto catastrophic bleed yet.
Oh God! Yeah.
Dear.
So I mean, obviously, there's things like, what's the cream that you can put on stuff? Antiseptic cream.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing to hold, or would you say it's better to be clean? Because I've had some like antiseptic wipes, baby wipes. Would they be good to clean out stuff?
Anything that you can keep it clean. You're not trying to be. There's a wound cleaning technique called aseptic, where you're being completely clean and your barrier against all sorts of stuff. You're not trying to do that. You're out in the field. There's no way you can have that level of cleanliness to it. So you're just trying to minimize any problems that you're going to have in a week's time when you're back home and you might start to get an infection. So if you can clean the area, baby wipes are absolutely fine. Clean the area, preferably non-perfumed and there's no sort of chemicals or anything in them. So sort of simple, easy non-perfumed wipes will clean around an area, but you wouldn't clean in a wound with those. You're much better actually just flushing it with some water, or like I say, some sterile water or sterile saline that will
Yeah.
just flush it through, and you're literally pouring that through a cut or something like that. Antiseptic creams are absolutely fine. It's a good thing to carry. Just remember that the expiry date on those, they expire really quickly. It's not something that you can kind of hold on to and think, oh, it's 6 months beyond, it'll still work. It won't. The active ingredient in that is absolutely dead. You're just putting moisturizer on at that point. So
There is a top tip because I've got some Germaline in the cupboard that's been there since the 70s.
it'll probably still smell of Germaline.
Oh, it does. Yeah, no,
But
it
yeah,
definitely does.
a lot of those antiseptic creams, a lot of creams actually, a lot of medicated creams, the expiry date's quite short, and that's for a reason because the active ingredient in them has died. It's like it's the same as suntan lotion. So don't keep suntan lotion to the next summer because the active ingredient in it that's giving you protection from the sun doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't last 12 months. It's gone.
Right.
So you won't get the protection. You'll get burnt really quickly. So most creams, it's like that. The active ingredient in it dies quite quickly, and it's no good anymore. So you have to make sure that you're looking at those expiry dates on stuff like that. But it's a good thing to carry, particularly for things like insect bites and bee stings and things like that. It's where you don't need to put a dressing on them or anything, but actually an antiseptic cream on them straight away will soothe down a lot of the itchiness, which stops you spreading the venom that the insect has kind of injected you with, and often then also stops it becoming infected. So it's a really good thing to carry in your first aid kit.
Yeah. So you talked about burns there, and I know you mean in sort of sunburn and stuff, but I think burns is another topic, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
That actually you and I, we like to play with fire, we like to play with blowtorches,
yeah.
and yeah, what would be the thing if you have a burn? Is yeah, how would you go about that in the field?
Yeah, burns are horrible. Burns are horrible
Mm.
things. So please be careful, people, if you're around fires and using blowtorches and stuff like that. It's burns are just horrible and they're really scarring and they're just not fun. So be really careful around fire. I know we kind of joke and laugh, don't we, about having and we have had some massive bonfires.
We
Hey,
do, yeah.
oh, it's great. But you do have to be careful. If you've done a little burn on your hand, it's going to be really sore. Maybe not the time that you do it, but within a few hours, it's going to be really sore, and it's probably going to blister up. Um,
Mm.
Try to protect it as best you can, and I know if you get a big burn at home, they advise you to wrap it all in cling film or I don't know film wrap or what, I'm not sure what they call it in North America. Um, but that clear cling film stuff, they advise you to kind of wrap it in that. I don't carry any of that in my first aid kit. The most burns I'm likely to get are sort of if I've touched the fire or I've just caught my hand on something.
Picked up a hot pan,
Yeah,
forgetting that it was hot.
oh God, yeah,
Yeah,
that really gets you. I mean, your body's really good. It sends that signal to your brain in, less than a second that you've touched something hot, and actually your reflex will beat you before your thought
yeah,
process has remembered to let go of it. Your hand will let go of stuff. It will pull back from something that's hot. But if you have burnt it, protect it, cover it up. If it blisters, don't burst the blister. That's your body's normal way of trying to heal that area, and just really protect it. It's going to hurt like hell, particularly if you put it in warm water or anything like that. So,
yeah.
there are burn creams that you can get. They're a sensible thing to take with you. And there are certain dressings that you can get to specifically to manage burns that you can get from any sort of pharmacy. So it's worth, if you know that you're going to play with fire and you've got a tent stove or anything like that. I mean, particularly tent stoves, you've only got to turn around the wrong way and you've touched it. It's
Yeah,
particularly if you're in a
don't be bending over on that pipe.
it's bloody hot, bloody hot. It's
Oh, skin sticks to it quick.
oh god, it's yeah, that's gross, Eddie. Oh god.
Roast beef.
Pork scratching anyone? Oh my
Just
god.
know on that pipe when it cools down.
Oh my god. It's but yeah, if you're doing anything with fire, it's worth having something for burns in your first aid kit, whether it's a dressing, whether it's a cream, a burn cream, or a combination of both. Again, it's thinking about what am I doing out there? What's likely to cause an injury if I get it wrong? I should be carrying something that would then mitigate that risk. And
Yeah.
certainly cuts, burns, the top on the list really of stuff that you should be protecting,
Yeah.
preparing for.
So the other sort of area that I was thinking of was also things like food poisoning. You know, you're actually out somewhere, you've eaten something that has actually, you didn't know it had gone off, it's been left out in the sun or whatever, and you're ill.
Yeah,
What kind of things do you most people would pack up and go home and do whatever, but
yeah,
sometimes, you just want to curl up in your tent and go, hopefully this will pass.
yeah.
You're on a week's camping trip, maybe a fortnight, and what do you do? Yeah, say you're vomiting and stuff like that. What's the kind of safest thing for you to do?
Try not to stop it. So vomiting and diarrhea is your body's normal way of going, you've put something in here and I need to get rid of it as quickly as possible. And that's the way your body will get rid of it. It will make you vomit and it will make you have diarrhea and it will get rid of it one way or the other or both. If you start taking something to stop that, so some people take things like Imodium that will or loperamide is the name of the drug. It's that will stop you from having diarrhea. That's the worst thing you can do because actually, if you've got food poisoning, it might last a few days at most. If you've taken something to stop you having diarrhea, chances are you're going to make it go on for a week or 10 days because literally you've stopped your body from getting rid of the thing that's inside you. So it's going to be in there longer, causing those symptoms. So if you are vomiting, you've got diarrhea. You want to you kind of got to ride it out. I'm afraid it's you need to let that stuff, whatever it is that you've eaten, you've got to let it come out of you. And normally, once it's out of you, most people settle down. You are going to feel like crap, but you need to. The most important thing you can do is push fluids. So drink loads, even if you're bringing it back up and you're thinking, oh, I'm not keeping anything down. I'm literally, I can guarantee you'll be keeping some of it down. Even if you're bringing some of it back up and you're vomiting straight away, you will be keeping some of it down. And you've just got to keep going with that. The best thing you can do is I always tell patients, if you have got vomiting and diarrhea and food poisoning, when you're pushing fluids, drink it like it's hot tea. Don't gulp at it like it's like crystal clear water. Because people make that mistake of trying to shove too much down, and that's going to come back anyway because you're feeling rubbish. If you sip at it slowly as though it's hot tea, then you've got a much higher chance of continually hydrating your system, and that won't then come back in a massive, great big amount of vomit. You may still vomit because your body's still trying to get the stuff out of you, but I can guarantee if you're continually sipping at little bits of water all the time, you'll keep the vast majority of that in, and you're going to prevent dehydration, which is the biggest risk if you've got food poisoning. It's if it does go on for a few days, then you need to think about replacing some of those essential salts and minerals because then you'll start to get in a real mess if you start to lose all of those because you'll be losing those by vomiting and diarrhea. So things like Diorolite, you can get them from any pharmacy. They're just sachets, powdered sachets. They weigh nothing. They last forever. They've got a really good expiration date on them. You can literally put them in your pack in your first aid kit and keep them forever. And it just means that if somebody on the trip does have some nausea, some diarrhea and vomiting, and they're not right for a day or so, give them one of those. You just mix it in some water. Again, get them to sip it slowly, not to down it all. They tend to come in like blackcurrant flavour and things like that because you can give them to kids as well. And it just replaces those salts and minerals and makes them start to feel better. And don't worry if they can't eat, but you can go 3 weeks without food. What's it? 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, 3 minutes without air. It's so air, obviously, keep them breathing. Push fluids, but nice and gently. Don't have them drink loads. And if they don't feel like eating, don't worry about it. You're not going to starve. It'll pass. It will pass.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I think those are the. Can you think of any other kind of things that you'd be? I'm talking from a layman's point of view, in regards to camping and stuff like that. Is there anything that you think?
I've always got some painkillers in because that hangover after that first day you go camping, you drink loads, don't you? You're going to be hungover that following day.
Yeah.
I've always got some ibuprofen and some paracetamol or acetaminophen to our North American listeners. I've always
That's a mouthful.
I know. I think they call it Tylenol. I think, but don't quote me on that. I don't know. I don't practice in America, but over here in the UK we call them paracetamol, and so I've always got some simple painkillers in there, just for if someone's got a bit of a headache from a bit of a hangover. It's and if you have cut yourself or burnt yourself, it's a really good idea to take some painkillers because it's going to hurt. So I always keep something like that in there. I've always got a few dressings. I do carry a tourniquet. I mentioned before about catastrophic bleed. We do have axes. We do have fixed blade knives. And the best care in the world, things can still happen. And if somebody does get a big significant cut and it's bleeding a lot, you need to be able to deal with that. I'm not going to tell people how to deal with that because one, it'll gross them out, and two, you need to use that kind of equipment properly, and there's procedures and things to do with that. It's but if somebody has cut themselves a lot and there's a lot of blood, you need to get a lot of pressure on that, and more pressure than you think. You really got to get some pressure on that to slow that down, and you're going to need help. You're going to need help really, really quickly for stuff like that. It's
Yeah, I guess that brings me on to, when do you call it? When do you, okay, small cuts and things like that. Only you're going to know, if that's a cut to your face, you cut a little bit of your finger, fine. Maybe you've cut the end of your finger off. There's grades to all of these things. Similar with burns, a small patch, you've picked up a handle or whatever, you've burnt the end of your thumb, or your hand is burnt. You picked up the wrong thing, or at what point do you go, I should go now and go seek advice?
Yeah, and that comes down to the severity of the injury and the skills and equipment that you've got to be able to manage that scenario. I can manage a reasonable amount, but if you talk about burns, it's not just about how much of an area has been burnt, but it's how deep that burn is. If you've just touched something hot and your hand's pulled away really quickly, you've probably taken the top few layers of skin off, and it's going to feel a bit sore, may even blister up in a few minutes' time. But actually, if you pressed against something and it's, say you've fallen over and your hand's gone in the fire, it's going to be in there quite a while you get yourself up and out the fire. Well, that burn will have gone much deeper into the tissue, and even if that's not a large area, that's a significant injury that you should be getting out of there, and you need to go and get that looked at. So it's not always about how big something is. It's the severity isn't always about the size of an injury. It's It's on lots of different factors. What I would say, just so that we're nice and safe and no one's going to sue us, is if you're worried about something, go and get some support. Particularly if you're on your own. Like
Yeah.
I was on my own in the Lake District, and I got blown over a few times, and the weather was really bad, and I was walking the hills, and I thought, this is stupid. I need to get off here now. You need to have a little bit of that common sense where
Yeah.
you go, this is an injury. I can't manage it myself. Say you've cut yourself or you hurt your hand, and it takes two hands to apply the dressing that you're trying to put on or to deal with it. Well, you're screwed, really, aren't you? So you've got to get yourself out of there. But if there's more of you there, then you can manage. You can manage more. But even so, if you feel that you need to go and get support for something, in an emergency department, then that's enough, really, isn't it? That's no one's ever gonna. I always say I used to support care homes, and used to do like home visits for in the community, and I'd always say to people, no one's ever going to shout at you for turning up somewhere. Yes, there's a lot of people who turn up to A&E who probably didn't need to go to A&E. But actually, if you feel that's where you need to be, nobody is going to shout at you for turning up there. They'll get you sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, A&E in the UK is the emergency room everywhere else in the world. But so if you feel you need extra help with something that it's beyond your limits and you've injured yourself, you've got to go, haven't you? If you've
Yeah.
fallen and you think you've broken a bone, you know, yeah, you got to go get it sorted, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you've got to
Yeah.
go get an X-ray. You got to go get it sorted, and
And I think for the majority of our listeners, we are not out in the wilds. Certainly, if I think about you and I, we do a bit more wild camping, but mostly it's still on sites with very little sort of facilities. Certainly, if you're in the UK, anybody that is operating a site will also have first aid
yeah,
kits. Maybe not first aid experience, but they will have some of the stuff that you might not have with you. So that would be your first port of call. And then, certainly for me, I'd take a judgment of the people that are in my group. What does everybody think? Actually, yeah, that looks really bad. To go phone the ambulance or whatever that is. And hopefully nobody has any accidents, but I think we've talked about some really good things, and certainly I will be looking at my antiseptic cream that's in my cupboard at home anyway, but also some of those things that I take with me that will help should the worst happen. And I guess it is
yeah.
the worst happening, just to make sure that actually I can cope with some things slightly better.
Well, camping time is precious, isn't it? We've said
Yeah.
that so many times, and you don't want something to ruin your camping trip, really, or cut it short. So if you're better prepared for the fact that an injury might occur, that you could then deal with it without having to leave your camp, then great. It's you know, I've said it before though, the best investment you can make, the best piece of equipment you can carry is knowledge and skills.
Yeah.
And you can go and buy, you can go and spend £100 on an incredible first aid kit for camping. It will have all sorts of wonderful stuff in it. But if you don't know how to use any of that, it's completely useless. So the best thing I would recommend anybody is go on a first aid course. There's loads of them run all over the place. A lot of employers run them now. We get it. I work in the NHS. We're forever having to update our life support training. It's go and get a little bit of training so that you can deal with stuff, because it's not just in the field, is it? It's in the home. You could be out and about, and
Yeah. I mean,
somebody's had an accident. You can help them. It's
yeah.
great. It's great knowledge and skills for your life. And it does mean then that if you have bought a first aid kit, you're going to know what the stuff in it is, and you're going to know how to use it. So, God, it's been a proper serious one, this one, hasn't it, Ed?
Well, I think there was a few laughs to start with, but we are talking about a serious thing, and I don't think it's something that we've necessarily touched on more
Mm,
than a couple of times. So, yeah, I found it useful. I hope the listeners have as well.
cool.
And should we go off to a minute mindfulness?
I think we should.
Welcome to the Casual Camping Minute Mindfulness. Let the sounds of nature take you back to the camping field.
Fab.
Yeah. I still want to go camping.
I know,
Oh,
I know, I know. And Halloween is around the corner. So next week's episode is next Friday of next week when the episode lands is Halloween. It's which is
ooh.
exciting for lots and lots of people.
Yeah. And, obviously lots of candy.
Yes. Are you dressing up?
Um,
Do you get do you,
uh,
do you get trick-or-treaters on your street?
we do. I've not done it for a couple of years because although my partner's really into doing that, she works quite a lot and she's never home. So kind of the burden of
Uh,
it falls to me. And
uh,
sometimes I'm just not in the mood, Tim.
no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Last 2 years, it's fallen to me, and where we were living, we moved this year, and where we were living, it was always mental. The families and the kids and stuff. It'd be like hours. They'd be coming round, and it didn't seem to matter how many sweets I bought. I'd always run out and have to put a sign on the front door going, "I'm really sorry, I've run out of sweets." So yeah, I feel
Did you get
really.
egged? Did you
I'm
get
gonna say
tricked?
you feel like the Grinch there, don't you? You feel really bad. It's like, oh no, I've given
When did
out
he put
literally.
that sign out? This morning.
Yeah. Oh dear. And
Oh.
I'm egging them from the window.
Have that, 5-year-old. Have that in your face.
Oh God. No, we're on a new street this year, so we shall see what happens. It'll be interesting, but cool. Well, suppose we better clear off. Stay safe,
Right.
everybody. Don't injure yourselves.
Yeah, take any bit of advice there, but you are in your own hands. Nobody will believe you if you use the excuse Tim and Ed told me. Okay, a little bit of knowledge goes a long way.
Yeah, get some knowledge, people. You take care. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Casual Camping Podcast accepts no liability and does not officially recommend any products or endorse any techniques discussed in an individual podcast episode or shown on Casual Camping Podcast social media accounts. Individuals should make their own informed decision and risk assessment of any products or advice prior to any purchase or use.